Hi, everybody. I'm here to burst your bubble. Not to be a downer, um, but really out of love, really out of love. Today, I am talking about busting the myth of the successful online business with the blissful 20-hour work week that happens overnight, that happens instantly. Um, and that's not what you want to hear. A lot of people are going to turn this off as soon as they hear me say that. Several years ago, I would have turned this off instantly because I didn't want to hear that building a business is hard. And I didn't want to hear that I couldn't instantly have this, business where I only work 20 hours a week and everything is sunshine, puppies, and rainbows. I wanted to hear that this was easy. And this is why there's so much hype in the industry, right? There's why there's so much hype in the way that we're marketed to, the way we're taught, the testimonials that are used. And my beef with it is that it's really, really damaging. Okay. So, what I want to instill in you is not to I'm definitely not telling you to not go after your dream. Like, definitely go after your dream, go after it with everything that you have, and don't stop. Like, but what I'm wanting to tell you is so that you don't get discouraged. Okay. So I'm Heather Wild Smith. I'm a sales coach for people who hate sales. They love to sell, they love to serve, they love to be coaches and healers, but they really don't like the ways that they've been taught to sell and market. They don't feel good to them. They're looking for a different way. So they want to believe that they can actually enroll people without having to resort to shifty sales shenanigans or to marketing that's like full of hype. And so that's what I do. And I want to tell you today, like, don't believe the hype that is out there. And I'm going to tell you why. And the biggest reason, like, don't buy into the hype, because the hype is then going to make you're going to feel like shit about yourself because you're going to get the freebie or the course or, the coach that is telling you, they're selling you this dream that everything is going to be so easy, and look at what other people have done in my program, or the results other people have gotten. And when you don't get those results, you're going to feel like shit about yourself. So I want to demystify some of this and let you know, like, what's actually going on with this, so that you have a more realistic picture of what the progress actually looks like, so that you can stay the course instead of investing over and over again, and not seeing the results and feeling like shit because, all these other people are getting these results, or this is what they were in the testimonials, or this is what the program talked about. So I'm really just giving you this information so that you have a clear picture, you have a more transparent understanding of what's going on, and you don't shit on yourself and shit on your dream because you're not getting these, crazy results that other people are getting. Okay, so this is really about being realistic so that you're not discouraged and you don't give up, because being an entrepreneur is not, for most people, it is not like an instant thing. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of outliers, right? So there are some people who get into this industry and instantly they're making fantastic money, and they're like, their dream takes off very quickly. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying, don't beat yourself up and think you're a failure and think that you're not meant for this dream just because you don't get those instant results. Okay. um so it's not possible that you're instantly going to have this business and everything is puppies and rainbows and wonderfulness and unicorns. But it's not probable, and I want you to have this information so that you can stay the course. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is freebies and low ticket offers. So many times we see these freebies, and it's very easy to, in the beginning of business, when we're not making a lot of money, to really want to try to grab all these free resources, right? And these free resources will make these pie in the sky promises, like, this is the ultimate guide to blah 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 blah. And I recently put out that I did an ultimate guide to, and it's not the ultimate guide. There's a lot of great information, but this is a 9-page PDF. It cannot be the ultimate guide to sales objections, because it's only 9 fucking pages, you know? The greatest sales expert in the world could not solve your problem. Even the one part, like I'm just talking about one part of the sales conversation. The greatest sales expert in the world cannot solve your sales problem in 9 pages. It's just not possible. It's hype, you know? And that was me, you know, trying out a strategy that had been given to me by a mentor. And I just honestly I don't feel great about it, you know? It's like I put a lot of great information in there and somebody has gotten back to me and they're like, wow, that helped me make a sale. And I'm really happy about that. But ultimate guide, like, you know, it's a little much. So the right mindset to go into when you're looking at freebies or even somebody's low ticket offers, the mindset that you want to have is that, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to learn whatever I can from it. But it's really the mindset for it is to know that you're getting a taste of this expert's work and you're getting to know like their style to see if you might want to hire them in the future or do one of their programs in the future. And the thing with like freebies and low ticket offers is not that there's no value in them at all. Like I certainly put as much value as I can into my lives, into, you know, my PDFs, you know, anything that I'm doing, but you're limited, you know, usually like it's a masterclass that's only, you know, an hour long or 90 minutes long. And maybe you can even ask questions. So that does add more value. But when you see these things that are like in 1 hour, I'm going to teach you how to make your first 10K. It's not possible. It doesn't matter how great that coach is and how much experience they have and everything. What they're giving you, what we can give you in these very, you know, in these free or low ticket offers in this kind of limited space and time, we can give you a broad overview of what you're going to need to solve whatever problem it is, whether it's how to grow your business, how to increase your sales, how to lose weight, how to, you know, do yoga better, you know, how to have a better relationship. So in a short period of time, you can give somebody an overview of like, these are the 10 steps or 5 steps or whatever to do this. The thing that you have to realize is that, and it can seem when it's not your niche or it's something you're new to learning about, it seems like this person is giving you so much information, and they are. But the thing is like if they're giving you a 5 steps to doing this, there's sub steps that go in between those 5 steps. And if you don't know what the sub steps are, the chances of that 5 step system working for you are pretty low. It's the nuances that really make things work. And so if you go into like, oh, I'm going to watch this free webinar and they say that, you know, after this webinar, I'm going to be able to make sales. Well, you'll go into that, and if you have the right mindset, you're going to come out of it and say, okay, now I have a few more ideas about how to make sales. And maybe I understand where I've been making a mistake and I know, you know, something else to try. And that's fabulous, right? But if you go into it thinking that, okay, I'm going to take these, you know, 10 steps to the perfect sales call, and now I'm going to turn around and now everybody is going to say yes to me, it's probably not going to work. It's just not. It can't. There's insufficient time to deliver the information, right? Or insufficient space to deliver the information. And the other thing is that information is great. And there's tons of free information out, you know, everywhere. There's like free guides and blogs and videos and you know, there's so much stuff out there. But the thing is, you need most people may need a mentor to help them hold them accountable and to help them to be there to ask questions, because like I can explain something very, very clearly. I think it's perfectly clear, but then talk to somebody and realize that what they heard was very different, because we all communicate differently and we learn differently and we think differently about things. We all have, you know, all these different experiences. So you can learn something from a webinar or a freebie, but you might not actually be getting the point, you know. But if you worked with that person, then you start to understand, you can ask questions and you can really figure out like, okay, oh, this is what they meant, right? And I'm going to be talking more about this in a second when I talk about courses and their promises and their testimonials and stuff. But no system works for everybody. All systems work, but no system works for everybody, right? And anybody who's trying to tell you, like, I've got the ultimate solution and I'm the only person with the right answer, they're full of shit. What usually happens is that people go on a journey to, you know, figure out a problem, and they learn from other people and they pick up things here and there, and then they create their own things and they put it all together. and they suddenly have this solution. Suddenly they've lost weight, suddenly their business took off, suddenly they're in the perfect relationship, and then they turn around and they produce this system, and they sell it like, I looked everywhere else for the answer to this, and this was the only answer, and I've got the ultimate answer. They have what worked for them, and that's great, and you should definitely learn from them. But don't get boxed in and be upset because their perfect system didn't work for you, right? Especially if you're doing something that is like a standalone, like self-study course or something where you have very limited access or no access to that person to help them. So the key is not in the information. The key is to implement it. And implementing it sometimes means that you've got to tweak it to make it really fit your situation so that you can actually be successful with it, right? Okay, so that was me kind of going. I kind of crossed over from freebies and low ticket offers to courses, okay, or group programs, or even one-to-one coaching. So we see all these courses, group programs, one-to-one coaching things, and they're like, do you want to 10x your income, right? So this is like a recent example for me. So I'm working with someone, and I like this person a lot, and I have a lot of respect for her, and I feel like she's one of the more high integrity like people that I've worked with, so I really like her a lot. And a lot of what not a lot some of the things that she suggests don't really land with me, right? Because I just have a different set of values. I have a different way I want to do things. And so recently she was suggesting that I put in, on my stuff, to say, do you want to 10x your income? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really good with that because I haven't produced that result for anybody yet. Like, I've helped people like understand their business better and, get on the road to having clients. I've had, other people make easier sales because of, stuff that I help them with, so I'm making progress, but I haven't produced, somebody 10xing their income yet. So I'm not really comfortable with that. And she's like, no, 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 no. You're not saying that we're not promising them that you're going to help them 10x their income. You're just asking them if they want to 10x their income. And I get the distinction, but it doesn't feel good to me, right? So just understand that a lot of the stuff it's hypey, it's clickbaity, to get your attention. But you have to watch how things are worded because people aren't promising you that they're going to help you to do that. And we can't promise that these kind of results because like I can show up, I can give a client my all, but if they have blocks against and they're not implementing and they're not being consistent and they're not taking action, then I can't guarantee those results. So I get that, but I don't like the hypey, like promise, not promise, thing. And the same thing goes like with the testimonials. So what happens with testimonials is people, of course, are going to talk about the people who got the best results with them. And it makes sense, but so sometimes the people who come into a program, and I would see this over and over again. So I was an overachiever. I went to college on two academic scholarships. I was very, very determined. I decided at 11 that I was going to be valedictorian of my high school, and I worked my ass off, and I graduated second in my class. I'm still kind of pissed about that, honestly, but I got my scholarships and I got the fuck out of my town, and that was the main, goal. So at any rate, I knew that I'm the type of person, I'm intelligent, I'm creative, I'm driven, I'm ambitious. So when I would go into these programs and I would see these testimonials about people like getting three times their ROI over the course of the program, or, somebody doubled their ROI just with the pre-work, of the course. I would go into it and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm that person, right? I'm a winner, damn it. I know I can trust myself to do it. And I would get in and it wouldn't happen. And then I would beat myself up. And then, full transparency, there were a lot of like most of the programs that I invested in, I didn't finish because I let myself get so discouraged. Now that's on me. And that's a thing that happens a lot with courses, and especially courses and group programs, because there's not the one-to-one, but even in one-to-one coaching, people can just peter out and just stop showing up and stop doing what they need to do. Right. And you have to take responsibility for yourself. But again, what I'm trying to do with this live is to tell you, like, pull back the curtain so that you see like what's actually going on, so you don't get so discouraged, you don't beat yourself up, and you do like keep plodding along, like just keep learning, keep implementing, keep working on your inner work, because it takes all of that, right? So what they're not telling you in these testimonials is that frequently the people come into the programs or one-to-one, whatever the clients they're talking about that got the most stellar results, they already had a following. They were already making sales. They already had like a good business in place. They just needed some tweaks. And it happened that that mentor and that program had what they needed to take off. Okay. So it's not that they're not being honest. Like these people did get these results, but frequently these things are marketed to newer entrepreneurs who don't have a following, who don't have all these things in place. And so they're talking about these results, and all of their testimonials will be just these like, oh my god, these people got these great results. And if you're brand new, you're probably not going to get those results. Okay, you're probably not. Okay, there are outliers. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying it's not probable. Okay, and if you're going to come into this, you have to be all in, and you have to be in for the long journey, and you have to be willing to uh to not believe the hype, and to just know that like there are going to be times that this is hard. There's going to be times when you're going to have to do things that you're not excited about doing. Like you're going to have to until you can pay somebody else and delegate it, but that's going to be further down the road, right? So I just don't want you getting like disgusted with yourself and disgusted with the industry, because there's a lot of good here. I just think we could do without a lot of the hype. The other thing with the testimonials is that sometimes people, I think frequently, honestly, will use testimonials from their one-to-one clients to advertise their group program. And once again, it's the having the increased accountability and having somebody to help you tweak the information and really customize it to your business makes all the difference in the world. And so, and it may be that the person signed up for the group program and then upgraded to one-to-one. A lot of that times that happens. And it's if you can make the extra investment, it's a good investment. You're much more likely to get better results. But they're not telling you that. So that lack of transparency in the testimonials, so many times, I would look at that and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this money on a credit card, and I'm scared as hell to make this investment. And I feel crazy because I've invested over and over again and not gotten any results. But I'm gonna do it because, I feel all inspired, and get in, and the same thing would happen, right? And again, and I take full responsibility. I should have kept going with things. I should have listened to the little voice inside my head who was saying, this is a pie in the sky promise, and it is probably too good to be true. And I wish people would start talking about not what's talk about what's possible in your program and the results that you've helped people get, but to also talk about what's probable, you know, or talk about why it was that what made this person stand out, what made this person such a great client that they got these great results, right? Because then other people can say, oh, okay, this is what, this is something maybe I need to change about my habit, or I need to change my mindset so that it's more possible for me to get this result. Like that would be cool. Um, and you just finally, like, you just have to get over like this idea that being an entrepreneur is easy and it's all sunshine and rainbows. Okay. Several years ago, I was doing some program, and I was working for Uber at the time. Ugh. And I had this regular client that like traveled every Monday, and I would go pick him up from his house at like 6 o'clock in the morning, which was just, but he was a nice guy. And he actually owned a business. He owned a brick and mortar business. And I think it was a family business that had been handed down to him. But even though it was a family business, like he still put in a lot of work, and he was very successful. He wasn't like a billionaire or anything, but he was very comfortable, but he put in a lot of work. And he knew that I was building my coaching business at the time. And we would talk about it, and I was in all these courses, and they were like, no, it's easy, we've got the system that's going to make it so easy, just invest in this program, and in 90 days you're going to get these results. But we don't promise them, but you're going to get these results. And I kept falling for it, and I kept falling for it because they were like, yeah, it's just going to be easy, we've got a step-by-step foolproof system that we're going to show you, and we're going to offer all the support, and this is going to happen. And so I remember talking to him one day, and I was saying something about how, like, I just, I was trying to hold on to this. I heard somebody said this the other day, and I kind of like it. Toxic positivity, right? It's all for being like optimistic, but we also have to be realistic, And a lot of the, things several years ago, and probably still now, they're just like, oh, just got to believe, and you just can't listen to people who say it's going to be hard and blah, 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 blah. And there's varying degrees of hard, and we definitely make it harder on ourselves when we think it has to be hard, but we also do a disservice to ourselves when we like block it out. We're like, no, 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 no. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be so easy. It's gonna be so easy. Because when we do hit the hard times, then we can internalize it and think there's something wrong with us, and we can give up on our dream. And for those of us who are in this industry because we really want to serve people, we really want to help people transform their lives or their businesses or their relationships or their bodies. It's not just a job, it's an adventure. It's not just a job. It's not just a way for us to make a quick buck, from our laptops or our iPads. It's something that's like a mission. That's like our purpose, right? And we don't want to give up on that, right? So having all these experiences and really wanting to hold on to this, oh, it's easy, it's easy. This guy told me, he was like, Heather, I'm sorry. He was like, being a business owner is not easy. And I actually fucked him off as a client. He was a regular client for months and months and months. He was super easy. He was respectful, and like it was consistent money, that I was making, and I sabotaged that relationship, and didn't pick him up or something stupid. And I mean, it was an accident, but when I look back on it, I know it's because he was telling me something that I didn't want to hear. He was telling me the truth. And he wasn't being an asshole and he wasn't trying to discourage me, but he was just like, "Hey, like business is hard. Okay? It's not all easy." So, I know a lot of, I've been in a lot of different programs, and I haven't, I've gotten progress, but I've never been a person that got all the, hypey testimonial results. And I would compare myself a lot. In the last program that I was in, I got to know more people and was more social, and that definitely helps, like having a community. But when people were willing to be honest and be vulnerable, most of them were not getting the results either, right? And so, I don't think group programs are nearly as effective as they're marketed, as they are. And there's so much hype, and I just think it does a disservice. Like there's a way to be successful, and doing programs, doing courses, having mentorship is absolutely essential. If you want to be a success in this business, if you want to start to live your purpose and make great money at it, and here's the deal, like you've got to make great money at it, because if you don't make great money at it, if you're not supporting yourself fully by living your mission and helping people, then you're going to have to go get at least a part-time job or or a full-time job. And that takes away time that you could be helping more people, right? So whatever it is that you hate sales, you hate marketing, come talk to me. I can show you how to do it authentically and genuinely, so that you can start filling your practice and really fulfilling your purpose and doing it full time, so you're not splitting your energy and your focus, so you can really focus on the people that you are here to serve. But just know that, like, having mentors and all of these things is essential, and it makes things easier. But beware the people who are telling you that it's going to be just easy, that like out of the gate you're going to work 20 hours a week, and you're going to love everything about your business, because it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. There might be a few people that are experiencing that. Again, it's not impossible, it's just not probable. And just beware of the people who are trying to sell you something that is too good to be true. Beware the people who are like, I know you think this is too good to be true, but that's just your success mindset. That's just your success and your money blocks, or blah, blah, blah. Beware of that bullshit. Yes, you have to have good money. You do have to work on some blocks, and there are mindset things. But the people who just put it off, like, oh, you're just being negative. No, you're being pragmatic, you're being practical. And the truth is, the ugly truth is that you can work with the best coaches, you can take the best programs, you can get, one-to-one help. And sometimes you're not going to get the great results, because it's all about finding sticking with it long enough to find the strategies that work for you, to find the people that are going to best be able to motivate you and best be able to connect with you to help you get the results. And the tragic truth, or just, well, not tragic, I mean, it just is what it is. You're going to make a lot. If you're going to make it in this business, you are probably going to spend thousands of dollars, and it's going to be maybe 30% of what you invest in is actually going to help you produce results. But that's the truth of this business. And if that's not something you want to hear, I get it. I don't want to hear it either. If that's something that you're not willing to do, then save yourself the trouble and go work for somebody else. Don't spend all this money if you're not going to see it through, because then it really is a waste. But if you keep going and you stay committed and determined, then it will pay off, right? But here's the thing, like, if you're a mission-based entrepreneur, like I as soon as I shortly after, like, I came in contact with coaching, I knew it was something I wanted to do. I felt like genuinely called to do this. I'm like, okay, I'm very empathetic. People will tell me anything. Like, total strangers will tell me anything. I mean, I'm often like, la 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 la, like, why the fuck are you telling me this? But it's something that's kind of been a curse my whole life. But I'm like, this is a way that it can be a blessing, that people can feel safe, talking to me, and I can actually be able to help them, so I felt very called to coaching. But because I bought into the hype, I got so discouraged several times that I quit, and I didn't follow through. And I finally was like, okay, there's just something wrong with me. There's like, I'm not an entrepreneur. And so I went and I tried to work, working for Uber and other things that I've done. Like, I worked for other people, but I was an independent contractor, and I wasn't in an office. I didn't have to deal with a lot of the bullshit that goes along with working for other people. I didn't have a boss standing over my shoulder, breathing down my neck. And, I got so discouraged in 2016 that I was like, okay, I keep investing. I keep, not getting any results, not getting, these great results. So there's something wrong with me. Everybody that's making it is, using hype and sales tactics that don't feel good to me. And I'm like, I just refuse. I want this so badly, but I refuse to be successful at the cost of my integrity. It just wasn't for me. And so I walked and I went and I worked for other people, and oh my God, I hated it. Hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it. I was a concierge for a residential high rise, and that was an adventure, but and a lot of funny stories, but I fucking hated it. And then I was a leasing agent for an apartment building, and that was and the biggest things that bothered me about being in concierge and being in leasing was that in order to conform to company policy, I frequently had to be dishonest to these people that I was supposed to be serving. And it felt really fucking gross. I hated it. So then I invested and I created a limo company just in time for COVID to like shut it down. Actually, there's a whole story around that. But I really had this realization like last October. I was, it was hot as hell in Atlanta in October last year for some reason. And I was in like a long sleeve white button up shirt, a tie, fucking black blazer, black pants, and I'm standing at the Atlanta airport and I'm waiting for some CEO that I'm gonna like drive home, and it really hit me. I'm like, your gifts are really being wasted working as a limo driver. Like, I was good at it, and I was figuring out how to make good money at it. And it's better than sitting in an office. Oh my God. But, and I didn't have to lie to people, which was awesome. Um, but I'm like, your gifts are being wasted. You've spent all this money and all this time and this energy learning all these things about personal growth, spiritual growth, business, and you're not using any of that here. And you're not helping these people. Anybody can drive these people back and forth, but not everybody can be a coach. Not everybody can be a heart centered coach who really knows their shit and who really, who can really help people. And so I realized I was really wasting my gift. I wasn't living my calling. And I was like, okay, so I love to coach. I hate sales and marketing. This was me just a year ago. I fucking hate sales and marketing. I hate the hype. I hate the sleaze. It's gross, blah, 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 blah. But I had this epiphany. I'm like, there's a lot of things there's a few things I liked about limo driving, but there's a lot of things that I hated about it, and I wasn't living my purpose. And I'm like, okay, so I can keep running from my calling, and running from sales and marketing, and I can keep trying to be happy working for other people. But at my core, I am an entrepreneur, and I can't sit in a situation in a business where they're doing stupid shit that doesn't make any sense and just be okay with that. I can't. It makes me fucking nuts. I'm like, oh my God, why are we doing that like that? It makes no friggin' sense whatsoever. Oh my God. So that's how you know if you're really an entrepreneur. If like it drives you fucking crazy to work for people, not because you have a problem um, listening to, having somebody tell you what to do, but you have a problem because shit is so stupid and they refuse to like do it differently. That's how you really know you're an entrepreneur. Um, but I realized like I could keep running from my calling just because I hated sales and marketing, or I could get over it, I could surrender, and I could figure out a way of sales and marketing that felt really, really good and really genuine and really respectful to my prospects and make this coaching thing work because that is what I'm on this planet to do. And so a couple months later, I got my first one-to-one business coach. Then I hired a second one-to-one business coach to work concurrently. And at one point, I had three coaches. But that's what allowed me to break through and to, do the mindset work it took to get over hating sales and marketing and to custom combine strategies and pull from what my mentors, were suggesting and all the things I learned because I would throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? I would go through a course, and as soon as there was something that didn't feel aligned, and something they were teaching me, I would kind of like ignore the rest of it. That was another thing that I did. And the truth was, like, there were a lot of things that were really aligned, but there were just some things that weren't, and it was a mistake of mine, to just throw everything out. So, if you're a mission-based entrepreneur, if you're here because your heart and soul is screaming at you that you are here to serve people, you are here to help people's lives be better, because happier people is a happier planet. Like the happier people are, the better it is for all of us, the better everything is. So if that is what your soul calling is, like stick with it, stay committed. And one of the best things you can do for yourself is to dream big, but to have realistic expectations and just know that this is a marathon. It is not a sprint for most of us. For those of you who do jump in and you're successful instantly, best wishes to you. Like, that's amazing. I'm jealous as hell, but I'm also really happy for you. But if you're jumping in and you're doing this and you're working your ass off and you're not seeing results yet, just know it's okay. You're not alone. Don't look at this stuff and think, oh, well, everybody else is successful, I'm not. Because there's just unfortunately a lot of hype and bullshit. So I would love to know what questions you have. If you're really vibing with what I'm talking about, I have a Facebook group. I'll put the link in the comments, but it's the Ethical High Ticket Sales for Coaches and Healers group. And I do trainings once a week. And I talk about, how to market yourself in a way that feels really good and really aligned to you and is effective. How to sell your services in a way that feels really aligned and really genuine and so like loving, toward your prospects and still allows you to make the great consistent income, that allows you to get the consistent 3K months, right? Um, yeah. So I'm going to stop talking, but I just wanted to go on and tell you guys some bad news, but for a good reason. And to hope that you guys are just going to keep at it and live your purpose. All right. Bye.